getting to know the Medium Development Goals, MDG, of course. And another observation, research and economics. No, I love to see research as well
economics.
As economics.
Actually, I just skipped them because I want to be quick.
No, thank you.
Yeah.
My observation, that's all.
That's all.
Good.
Okay.
That's all from my side.
Okay.
Rana, you are very anxious, am I correct?
Exactly.
Why you want to rely on each and every word written there in your paper? Why can't you speak? Why are you reading? Always it's better to speak a paper than read the paper.
Exactly. Actually, because of the short time, so I just want to be condensed.
That anxiety could be very well, is well explicit that you are very anxious.
Okay.
And you are given a title. You are given a title, Cognitive Insights into Integrating SDG into English Language and Literature Education.
That's the paper I'm writing, but I said from the beginning, I'm using this 5 minutes. I just want to promote the things like the resources I'm using, so it will be helpful to all.
Do you agree when I say I could not find insight and I could not find anything related to English language literature?
I totally agree.
But it's an experience to you to face an audience and share your inputs.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to do this 5 minutes because I can't present the paper.
You need a stepping stone. Let this be a stepping stone. Next time, do complete justice to the title you have taken and try to speak. Good luck to you.
Thank you so much.
Questions from audience?
Sorry for the interruption. Paper presenters whose names I read out now will be doing a presentation in the hall next to this hall, Mini Hall 2. Shirley Hepzibah, if you're here. Miss Shirley Hepzibah. Miss Lovely Vinolya Paul. K. Priyadarshini. Linto Montier, V. Monisha, Subiksha A, Ponnezhil, Harsha Prada, correct only, Brinda B, Sovia Sefer. Okay, you can join in the next hall for your presentation. Thank you. Ma'am, you can continue with the presentation.
Lalita Devi, she's present. Lalita Devi? Lata?
Illa ma'am, next one. Illa ma'am. Yes. They're going to the next room. Next participant.
Good afternoon to everyone. I am Dr. Tamarai Selvi from Savitha University. My title of the paper is Enhancing English Speaking Skills in Regional Language Background Students, a Task-Based Approach. So the purpose of the study is to enhance the speaking skills of the marine engineering students, because they lack a fluency in their speaking skills. So with my approach and techniques, I am just did this research. Problem statement. problem statement, as I said, there is a lack in fluency. Population of the study is Marine Engineering College from SAMS, that is Southern Academy of Maritime Studies in Panapakam. And then research questions will task-based approach. I am using task-based approach in this. So will this task-based approach enhance the speaking skills of the marine engineering students, as well as I have used here zigzag technique also. Will this zigzag technique really strengthen the speaking skills of the students? Next slide. Hypothesis of the study is that with the use of this approach, task-based learning and teaching approach, as well as zigzag technique, the students' speaking skills has been improved. And it is also proved. Significance is that this is the first article which is use zigzag technique in this marine students. Limitation is only for marine engineering students. Method I have used here, mixed method research, approach, that is quantitative as well as qualitative. For quantitative, I have discussed with the marine students and found out their problems in speaking skills, as well as quantitative. I have analyzed the results through SPSS software. Approach, as I said, I used here task-based learning and teaching approach. Next. As I said, zigzag technique. This technique is a very powerful tool. With this tool, I have proved that students are improved their skill. With this technique, they learn how to collaborate with each other, with the students. Peer teaching and learning is occurred in this, and also activities help them to develop their speaking skills. Research findings, as I said, really help them to improve their speaking skills. Thank you.
No, you have to discuss or just share a few information on research findings.
Yes.
Just a topic here.
See, I have taken note of sentences from their speech, and then I have given in the articles. That's it, ma'am. Found where they are making mistakes, like a lot of grammatical errors and so on. I didn't use here.
Okay, qualitative, what's the result?
Qualitative, I discussed with them. Even after 12 years of language learning, they were not able to speak fluently. That is the qualitative, ma'am.
Okay, qualitative approach, activity.
Yes, activity is zigzag.
Yeah, for qualitative as well as for quantitative.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, you just told you used SPSS software.
Yes, ma'am.
And what about the result of?
Ma'am, that I am analyzing, not
you should have completed, okay?
Yes, yes, ma'am.
But procedure, structure, everything is really good.
Yes,
I appreciate you.
Thank you, ma'am.
In your first slide, you used an hyphenated. Could you go to the first slide, Henna?
Yes, ma'am.
English hyphenated speaking, is that correct?
Where, ma'am?
The first slide. Should there be a hyphen there?
By typing error, ma'am.
Yeah,
Sorry.
I understand. And we are in a post-method era. Are you aware of that? What it means? What do you understand by post-method era?
Sorry, ma'am.
That means there is no single magical best step in this world that can be recommended as promotes learning or enhanced skills.
Okay.
So now you have taken us back to 20 or 30 years back and saying that I did this magic and the result has come.
But the task-based is recent only, ma'am.
Yes.
Not long back. Only 70s it...
Even 10 years before also people
82. It was developed by N.S. Prabhu in 82 only, 87 he proved that with his research. So it is not that old, no ma'am.
Okay, fine. I think you need to learn a lot.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, that you agree?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, yeah. You are making use of SRM to learn, right? I am happy for that we are helping you to grow.
Yes, ma'am.
You need to learn a lot about this, and the choice of images, nothing related to an English classroom.
But for marine I have included.
Yeah, you take care of that also.
Yes, ma'am.
Learn a lot, right? Good luck to you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Hasini Raj, Preeti Mala, Abhisha Jasmine, Cynthia Milton.
Yeah, Cynthia.
So good afternoon all. I am a language teacher who is catering to the students of health science background, and this is a simple concept that I build how I can integrate SDG sensitization and some problem solving methods into my ELT classroom. We can move to the next slide. So the aim of the study is to conceptualize and design Edu escape room to integrate ELT with SDG concepts and investigate the impact of Edu escape room in mobilizing active participation of health science graduates in SDG initiatives during English learning sessions. So here, can we move to the next one? So I consider my English classroom as a mini world which can chisel and develop and favorably develop the personality of my students. So active participation of the students with an insight into how they can critically solve problems, social problems is very much needed here. So with that, and also there are many educational policies that have very recently taken the fourth stage, outcome-based education and also national education policies, which say that students should be holistically seen and holistical development of the student is very important. Can we move to the next one? So with that, and also we have added on, now we are having a global view of how every student has a global responsibility. They are the future citizens, and with as I said, I'm catering to the health science students, and they have to promote the global health. So it is very much into the curriculum, the health science curriculum, and a language teacher can definitely very much be active in incorporating the SDG concepts into the English class. So can we move to the next one? So out of the 17 SDG goals, there are 6 that are sticking to the social dimensions, 3 is exclusively for the good health and well-being, and the other 4 are listed down here. So how we can use these SDG goals and take it into the escape room concepts and teach in the English class. That is what my study is going to concentrate. Next slide, please. So can we go to the next one? So what is an escape room? An escape room is a room wherein the players, it is a team-based game wherein the players are locked into the room, and within the given time frame they have to solve the mystery that is posed in form of a challenge or a riddle, and they have to escape out of the room. This is the most recent gaming a reality kind of a technique that has come into, that is engaging all the learners, not the learners, the players especially. And this is also adopted into the education concept, wherein when they are trapped into into the classroom or a room somewhere, the scenario exactly resembles some theme, and also when they solve it out, there is a kind of a learning objective that is met over here. So with this concept, this is taken as a tool in my English class to give them the awareness of the SDG. Can we move to the next one? So these are the gaming elements that the escape room should have. The first is the storyline. So there is a storyline. Based on the storyline, there are a sequence of rooms or a sequence of puzzles that they have to solve it out. And every student or the participant is called as a character or an avatar of that storyline. And they have to solve out the mystical challenges that are put forth. So this is really an engaging kind of a learning atmosphere, and solving the riddles and the puzzles really give them kind of a thrilling experience. The next slide, please. So I just used this concept and I developed one of the Edu escape room on the SDG 1, no poverty. So here it is to foster collaboration and effective communication, and along with that some social roles, the social responsibilities among the students while they play this game, and also practically help them to improve their proficiency that they will require when they work in the real life situations that are reflected in this Edu escape room. Can we go to the next one? So I have created one storyline. There could be some challenges in the teachers when they try to create a storyline, but I have used the help of the ChatGPT to get an idea of how a storyline can be created, and I have made it into a local concept. I have created I have taken Mugalivakam. This is a place that is very close to my college, wherein the students are through the NSS or other health social practices, they go and visit and give them health screenings. So I have just created a situation where they go in for health screening, and the students find that there are many people who are malnourished and there are many suicides, and they get to know it, and they need to find out what is the cause behind it. Can we go to the next one? With this storyline, I have created 3 steps. That means that there will be three rooms with 3 different puzzle or a challenge in each room. So the total duration which I had taken is 2 hours. Can we go to the next one? So this is the entire frame that I had created. There are 3 rooms. If the student is able to complete the challenge in the first room, they are allowed into a second room. So it takes a linear kind of a sequencing of all this. It needs some planning, but definitely it works very well. Can we go to the next one? So, and definitely the teacher has to create many puzzles or a role play or some activity that they need to do in that room. So here again, AI definitely helps here. I have used a simple tool like superteacherworksheet.com. That's a free tool which can be used for generating some kind of a puzzle in the classroom. And every room also has a clue that they receive at the end of it that will allow them to go into the next room. So here in the first room, they get to know the problem. They get to analyze, critically see what is the problem that is there in that. This means the classroom is converted into a kind of an atmosphere of that Arunai village, and they have to solve out this riddle. So here I have taken a poetry. The poetry of Thomas Hood is taken here, and there is a reflection of how the pain of poverty is here. So I have used it even to teach them about some adjectives. So they are given the word along with the puzzle. Within the 20 minutes time, they have to solve it out, and as they get every 3 answers, they are given 1 letter of the word, and they arrange it and find out the word poverty. With that, they move into the next room. The next slide. So then in the second room, they are asked to do a role play. So with all the 4 images, they have to involve, or that is the instruction that they get. All the 6 participants of the room should have to play a role of it, and they have to complete it depicting whatever problem is shown here. So they get to know what are the real situation or the real problem that poverty can bring into them. The next room. So in the third room, they get to know what are the strategies. This is the passage that is taken here on the right side. It is about the WHO's recommendations of how this can be overcome. So they read it, and they, after the comprehending on it, they try to solve this by rearranging the words that are given there, and they come out of it. So the entire thing, it took 1.5 hours. So students were grouped, and they were given this kind of an exciting passage into all the 3 rooms. Can we go to the next one? So I didn't want to stop at that point. I just took 18 of my students from trauma care dictation, and I played this with them, and I could find that there was a good knowledge gain also. They did a pre-test with some SDG questions as well as a language question, a simple kind of a thing which I could do, and there was a nice quick gain of knowledge, but I couldn't check the long time retention of it. And also, can we go to the next one? The use of, the students' feedback was very, very good. They liked it. They said it was very exciting, thrilling, and they look forward to learning about the SDG in the English class. They rather than doing it in a didactic lecture. So this definitely is this escape room is a very good tool to build in the critical thinking and decision-making skill among the student. Thank you. Thank you. So this is a picture of how I made my students work. To the end, I asked them to, some of the terminologies were also given, and they started to work.
In your case, my observations, the study was quite okay, right? But value result alone I couldn't understand. Pre-test and post-test, a difference of course we could, but I just wanted you to describe on the value.
So knowledge gain is first importance. So what I did was just a 10 question which they answer. What are the SDGs? What is the first SDG? What are the strategies to overcome the first SDG? And can you complete with an adjective for this word? Okay, say for example.
No, that is language.
Yeah, that is for the knowledge. And then the next one is the use of, the players' feedback was very important. How they find the session to be. That was one.
Good work done.
Thank you, ma'am.
I appreciate the efforts you have taken. It's a very good presentation and good thinking. To begin with, when you were talking, I was noting down what is the connection, whether you are not saying what you have claimed in the title. I was noting down. But as you proceed, all doubts got clarified by itself. So the only one tip that I could say that there is no need to have a suspense there in a paper presentation. You include that in the initial stage itself. So people like me who are eager to find out what is missing there, I need not waste their time. So let that be. So the one you had, that SDG objective, ELT objective, just helped me to have clarified all the doubts I had in my mind. If that is revealed in the first, second or slide, people could expect what is there and the elaboration in the following slides. Yes, so need not reserve it to the later part. Otherwise, very good thinking. The way you conceptualize that SDG objective and ELT objective and the way you went on with the activities, it's all very good. I appreciate your efforts and keep doing it. Good.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, sir.
And you checked the learning by conducting a test, the pre-test and then a survey. That also helps the teacher to know. We might be satisfied that we are doing a good job, but that word should come from their end. And the marks is the proof, and their positive comment is another proof. So you have done both. I appreciate that also. Good work.
Thank you.
Satyapriya Darshini. Questions from audience?
Warm greetings to everyone present here. I am S. Satyapriya Darshini, a student of MA from Sri Sathya Sai Institute of Higher Learning, Anantapur campus. And I am going to be giving a brief presentation on my paper titled AI Mediated Composition Writing in an English as Second Language Classroom, a Case Study. Next slide, please. So this is the table of contents. Next slide, please. We've been talking about SDGs for the better part of today, and we'll be continuing to talk about it tomorrow also. Right now, I want to bring all of our attention to something much more basic, to something which plays a very cardinal role in the modern world. Technological advancements have resulted in the development of something called as artificial intelligence, or AI, and this has become a very important part of our lives today, to the point that it is almost impossible for us to imagine a life in its absence. So I'm going to be talking about the intrusion of AI into the field of academia with respect to an ESL classroom. So when there is an intrusion of something like AI into a classroom, a new problem arises for the teacher. So now there will be a problem with the authenticity of any of the assignments written or spoken, any of the works that is submitted. So because Ellen Showalter, in one of her essays, she has mentioned that universities or classrooms are the places where new ideas get formulated, and there are like innovations that happen. And even in today's afternoon keynote address, we were talking about education as a pathway to the SDGs. And in such a field like education, when there is an intrusion of something called as artificial intelligence, it is prudent for us to investigate that further. So I have, this case study was triggered because I found out that the same prompt, when we give the same prompt across different AI bots, the outputs generated are different, majorly different. And I wanted to understand the cause for all of these differences. Hence I undertook this case study, and I also tried to understand and come up with a way of integrating human and artificial intelligence and putting AI to precise use in an ESL classroom. So this will make this paper, the paper will go under the fourth quality education of SDGs. Next slide, please. So I have chosen ChatGPT, Gemini, and Copilot as these are the three most popular AI bots that are used currently. So they're developed by OpenAI, Google DeepMind, and Microsoft respectively. So these systems, AI in general, they are known as LLMs, or large language models, because they're fed information from a huge source. They have information from journals, articles, books, research papers, etc. And AI bots are able to understand the prompt that humans put in because of something called as NLP, or natural language processing. So this is how they go back to their source to generate information and generate output for the particular prompt. Next slide, please. So in the case study, I chose a very simple, typical composition question, because in an ESL classroom, compositional writing assignments are very common. So I chose a question, I gave a prompt, I asked each of the AI bots to write a paragraph on nature. As the first criterion, I put word limit, so the paragraph was supposed to be under 100 words, or equal to 100 words exactly. And then the second criterion, I gave a much more specific prompt. That is, I asked the AI bots to generate an output for a paragraph on nature's powers of creation and destruction. Next slide, please. So Gemini was not as precise as it claimed to be. The outputs generated by Gemini did not come close to 100 words. The first criterion was not achieved, but ChatGPT was able to be a little more precise than Gemini, and then Copilot was exact. 100 words was achieved in the 100 words was generated. when we look at the results generated from each of these bots, there was a difference in tone and content. Though the sense was pretty much more or less equal, there was a slight difference, and I wanted to investigate why there was a difference. And these differences pointed me to their objectives with which they were created. So ChatGPT is basically a conversation bot. It has the ability to hold conversations with the user. So its responses were more or less like a conversation or like a speech that can be spoken and not written. And Gemini claimed to be more precise, and it had a lot of claims to be very creative and have original output. But then Gemini was not precise as per the case study, because it was not able to adhere to the word limit. When we looked at Copilot offers 3 options for the users. That is, we can generate a precise output or a balanced output or a creative output. For the study, I chose balanced output, but then based on the outputs that were generated, I felt like Copilot is much more useful for students to use for their assignments. Next slide, please. So when it comes to integrating AI into education, user discretion is a must. We cannot copy-paste answers directly from AI. So this is where we try to integrate human and artificial intelligence. So this is where we give precise prompts so that we get precise answers that can be further worked upon based on the requirements of the assignment, requirements for our work. And as a conclusion, I figured out that the differences in the output was because of the differences in the objectives with which they were created. So these different objectives could also mean that the LLMs I mentioned, the sources might be different for each of these AI. The sources could be tailor-made for their objectives, and that causes a difference in the output. And all of this knowledge is necessary for users, for students and teachers alike, because it is very important for us to know the nitty-gritties of stuff when we are going to apply it to advance in education. Thank you.
Satya Priya Darshini.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. You used the word classroom. I'm saying one statement. You don't need a classroom to make this analysis. Am I correct?
Yeah.
Then why do you include that in the title? Yes, each and every word matters in a title, right? You have said AI-mediated composition writing in an ESL classroom, a case study. Where is ESL classroom in your presentation? Yes. So next time you can have this in your mind, right? So you are comparing 3 AI-supported system that helps us when we type a keyword. And you have come to a conclusion, Copilot could be a better option to recommend students to do their assignments when we give a question.
Not exactly like that.
Then?
Ma'am, it is very obvious that we depend on AI for a lot of things, right? And when it comes to writing, it is important for us to know what we are using. And that is why I try to figure out...
It is important to think and write than to rely on AI.
Not completely. That is why I spoke about integrating human and AI.
And right. Also in the introduction style, Henna, go to introduction slide. One thing for your learning, because you are all learning stage, right? Could you see the words there? They are not logically connected. Could you see that? You say that intrusion into academia, first one, threat, human cognition and creativity. That means AI is a threat to human cognition. Am I correct? Second, threat, AI. Human cognition, you have written threat, -human cognition and creativity. That means AI is a threat to human cognition and creativity. Am I correct?
You're missing out on one word, human dependence.
Human dependence.
Human dependence on AI can pose
Yeah, is a threat too. Is a threat too.
Yeah.
Intrusion into academia leads to authenticity of material if I follow the same method of understanding. That means keywords are missing. Do you understand? So when you go for even hyphen, better go for the keywords in which way I should understand the words you have typed in the slide. One time I should understand in this way, the other time in a different. When you say intrusion into academia leads to authenticity of any material, am I correct? No, I'm not correct. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah, learn that. Good luck. Questions from?
Yeah. Yes.
Yes, sir.
I have two small questions. Instead of using those three language models or chatbots like ChatGPT and other things, whatever works best for us, we can use that. So to answer to ma'am's question, that might be a solution partially. It's not necessary that we use all three and compare and then see which one is giving us the result. Whatever we are okay with and whichever all of them are anyway programmed to give outputs based on the input that we give in, key in. So not that ChatGPT is the best one, the other ones are not. That's one. The second part is an observational kind of thing. When we key in a word or something like that, nature, you asked the ChatGPT to write an article on that. The one idea could be, ask the students to write a paragraph of over 100 words on nature, for example, and ask them to search that in using any of those ChatGPT, and then see where they are, where they can do good or where the machine is doing good. Alternately, they can search the engine and then find an answer, and later develop an answer, rephrasing or rewording that. So that also gives an understanding of how machine can be tamed to our advantage without being dependent on the machine, and yet we produce an authentic material without giving it an impression that it's a plagiarized one or it's a machine generated one or I haven't contributed anything to it. So either way I benefit using machine to my advantage, and that's how the output or the essay or the paragraph that I write is improved upon and is much better than what the machine would have generated. Right? Good one. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Excuse me, I just wanted to ask you, I was waiting, that ChatGPT is quite famous, but we don't permit students to work on ChatGPT. They lack originality. Right? They can practice, that can be done, but we don't prefer. Anyhow, of course, AI mediated tools nowadays, current trend I do accept, but as a case study, okay, but we don't prefer, because they cannot improve their skills. Yeah. Of course, they can use technologies, that's all, but originality, question mark.
So thank you for your presentation. I actually have a question which is related to what you have just presented. We are indeed talking about, how AI can help in classroom teaching and everything. It can help students learn this, that, whatever. But, I think our examination system is still very traditional. Right? And especially when it comes to English language teaching in a classroom, perhaps I can allow students to make use of AI. But do you see a future where, and this is a question for all those people who might actually have an opinion on this matter, do you see a future where AI might just be, made a part of the examination system as well? Because, what I see while teaching in my classrooms is that, although, students make use of AI very well when it comes to classroom teaching, they're able to, generate a lot of good ideas. They try to integrate those ideas in their writing, etc. But when it comes to writing the exam, where they're not allowed access to AI, they are making a whole lot of mistakes, especially when it comes to spelling and grammar. These are the things that they rely on the most when it comes to writing, making use of AI. So how do you respond to this?
Let me also add on my point. During classroom activity, classroom assignment, a student was using ChatGPT. Immediately we marked as malpractice. Because we taught in the class and he has to write on his own. So for examination practice we cannot, but for learning they can, self-learning, for that they can.
I would like to take a different stance from that. I mean, if we are evolving, we are going towards a more AI and human interdependent life. So if we are going to explore AI with respect to assignments and tests, definitely if we are moving out of the traditional way of writing examinations, and if we are able to come up with something that would a way that would allow us to integrate AI into the testing system, then maybe yes, we can have examinations where AI systems, I mean the use of AI can be allowed. But then I think it will take a long time for us to reach that place. For now, it cannot be.
First of all, as you said, using AI is treated as a malpractice in your classes. It is the same for us. We also do not use AI. And secondly, even if we use AI, we do not rely on AI. There is a difference in using AI and relying on AI. That's the whole point of discussion. And when it comes to
composite, not to rely, that's all.
Yes, ma'am. And because, yes, when it comes to AI, it will give us pointers. We have to navigate through the pointers. And as you said, yes, we can integrate it in future. And maybe you might even find it that so many people would now be using AI-generated concepts. Even, I don't know if it's good to share personal instances here, but a renowned YouTuber, a person who's working under him, so he actually told me, because I write poetry and stuff, he was like, the poetry that you compose and the poetry that AI composes, there is a lot of difference, but the content that is needed for us to be presented to this section that needs motivation is more bent towards the AI generated writing than the human generated writing. So in that case, when we talk of integration of these concepts in classroom teaching, it actually means not relying, again the point is not relying, but actually navigating through each of it, because we are humans and these tools have been developed by us as a mode of development, because we were in the morning also we were talking about development. So this actually entails to the process of development. We talk about robotics, we talk about innovation, so it is a part of innovation. It is not about human replacement and human intelligence replacement. That's it.
Yeah, we are not denying, ma'am. For learning we can use.
So yes, as I wasn't here for the part, but the last part I was able to comprehend. Earlier there was a workshop for us where that too I mentioned this Arizona State University they have come out with AI where you can use AI. AI is the medium of instruction for the students, so they have come out with that. It's hardly 5 months old, but they are trying to make a breakthrough through that. And all said and done, it's just in between, I'm sorry for that. I appreciate, hats off to these MA and BA students who are making the floor talk. Awesome. It's, even when we were doing PhD, we did not have that nerve to talk, if I'm right, but you people are like on the floor. Hats off to your college. Hats off. You're so confident. You're so clear. The terminology which you use. Yeah, we'll clap for ourselves. We'll have to clap for ourselves. Yes. Hats off to your teachers too. Wonderful, wonderful grooming. So this is the flow which future literature people would want to be it ELT or literature. Wonderful. Thank you so much. This is just a piece of appreciation for them.
Yeah, I know we're almost done with the discussion, but just to mention, there is an assignment that the first years in our college have been given, where they are asked to generate a speech using an AI, but they are not allowed to directly deliver the speech in the classroom for their assignment. They have to learn how to humanize the speech. But, ma'am, I know you mentioned how the students are not permitted to use AIs in generating their assignments. But you can't necessarily curb the use of AI, because now there's a generation of students coming in who know how to tame AIs. They know how the algorithm works because they've used it that much. You sit and experiment with it. You yourself will understand how to, gain an answer that you specifically want. So
once they go out of the university, what are they doing? They are pretty.
You can't curb the use of AI at any point.
Nobody is curbing, I'm saying for learning, it depends on variety of assignment also. Already we taught minutes of meeting, template also shared, and he cannot copy. Can you understand? I'm not saying, already I told that I'm not denying, right?
Yes,
they should not rely on. Originality must be there. For learning they can use, and if assignment is based on that, well and good. As if I'm against AI, please don't talk.
No, ma'am. I see. Personally speaking, I myself am not very for AI, ma'am.
It's all right.
No, it's not
concept.
Yeah, it's not about that. It's more about how AIs themselves can be tamed in today's world to, generate an output that you want. So even when these students were asked to humanize the speech, they gave the prompt to the AI to humanize the speech for them. There was no manual work done. Yes, ma'am.
Our own research scholar, Christina, is the last one to present here.
A very good evening to one and all present here, and I belong to the same department, English and Foreign Languages, and I've recently joined here, and it was a wonderful experience to witness everything, and it's a nice opportunity to present my humble paper here. Good evening, ma'am. So my topic is about the river Thames in painting and poetry. Next slide. Next one. So why River Thames? So basically I'm very passion driven. I love literature, and I took a break and I came back to do this PhD. So I would love to go with River Thames. So River Thames and the history of British has been interlinked from the ages past. So there's a beautiful connection between this Thames and London itself, British itself. They both tell us the history, where River Thames reflects the history of literature. So that's why I took this topic. And the next slide. So poetry is speaking picture, painting a silent poetry. This is actually by Plutarch, and it is his quotes. River Thames has been a subject of inspiration for countless artists. So over a period of time, the past till the present, there were many artists who got inspired by River Thames, and there are more than 32 bridges built on this big, beautiful river, and it's been a great inspiration for artists as well as the writers of the past. From if you take poetry, for example, from Wordsworth till T.S. Eliot, there were many poets who got inspired by the River Thames, and they have written a lot of beautiful stuff by getting inspiration from the river. So the next slide. So in this paper, basically, I am comparing these two paintings and poems with each other. Composed upon a Westminster Bridge by William Wordsworth, with the painting Joseph Mallord William Turner. We will call him J.M.W. Turner. He is a painter, and with that painting, I am comparing this poem. And again, the Wasteland Part 3, the Fire Sermon by T.S. Eliot, with the Thames by Moonlight with the Southwark Bridge, London 1884, which was painted by John Atkinson Grimshaw. So these are the two selected works that I am comparing with each other. The next slide. Next slide. Yes, so these are the two paintings, just for your understanding. This one, the night, the dark one, is painted by Grimshaw, which is, I'm going to compare with Eliot's Wasteland poem, where Thames has been mentioned. And that one is an impressionistic art by J.M.W. Turner. He has painted a lot of paintings, including more than 17 paintings he has painted with reference to Turner. He is a passionate lover of, the Thames River, actually. So this one I'm going to compare with Composed Upon a Westminster Bridge. The previous slide, please. Yes. So Turner and Wordsworth, they both have this beautiful notion of comparing the, getting inspiration from the river Thames. So where Turner, as a painter, he has always expressed the atmospheric and very beautiful nature of Thames in all his paintings. More than 17 paintings he has done about that. And he brings the, the dynamic, the expressive qualities of the river, where Wordsworth wanted to showcase the tranquil and contemplative, contemplative in the sense prolonged thought about the river, the things around it, the fantastical things that he wanted to imagine and put forth in his poem, where he says, "Earth has not anything to show more fair. Dull would he be of soul who could pass by a sight so touching in its majesty. This city now doth like a garment where the beauty of the morning silent bare, ships, towers, domes, theatres, and temples lie open unto the fields and to the sky, all bright and glittering in the smokeless air. Never did sun more beautifully steep in his first splendor, valley, rock, or hill. Never saw, I never felt a calm so deep. The river glideth at his own sweet will. Dear God, the very houses seem asleep, and all that mighty heart is lying still." So when you see that painting, and again Wordsworth's this poem, Composed Upon a Westminster Bridge, both has this serene, tranquil, it kind of gives a peace and harmony to the living beings when we read or when we see the picture. That's the comparison I wanted to bring in here. So where Turner expresses the dynamic and expressive qualities of river, Wordsworth comes with a tranquil and contemplative perspective of the river, and he reflects, both of them reflects the stillness and the stillness everyone longs for. So the next slide. again, Grimshaw and Eliot. Grimshaw, the painting which had the darker thing, and Eliot and Grimshaw, they belong to a particular time period, and whereas Wordsworth and the other painter Turner belongs to the different timeline. So this darkness, and in this work, especially in Wasteland, where he speaks about how they have, showcased the themes of disillusionment and the decay, and where they leave out the moral values, the human kind, all these things they bring in, where the painting also shows the darker side of the river and where it gets polluted, and all those buildings and all those industrialization taking place, all these things happening. So here in this poem, the main themes, the painting and the themes mainly focuses on transformation, decay, modernity from different perspectives. The river itself in the painting, it depicts the darkness, the night actually, and both the works explores the ideas of darkness, spiritual emptiness of the modern world, and the changing relationship between humanists and the natural world. So the next slide. So to conclude, I wanted to combine all the river painting and poetry as a reflection of life itself, where painting captivates life's moments and brings it forth, and again river symbolizes the change of life, time, and renewal of spirit, everything, and poetry is a powerful medium for exploring depths of human experiences and emotions. So all these three things are interlinked and connected, and they all reflect life in a very beautiful way. So together, painting, rivers, and poetry serve as mirrors of life, reflecting its beauty, struggles, joy, and sorrows. They invite us to contemplate the world around us, find meaning in our experiences, and connect with something greater than ourselves. Thank you.
Christina.
Yes, ma'am.
When you started saying why Thames, I was noting down as a plus point. She tells the doubts that people have that you are setting the background.
Yes, ma'am.
And then when you went to the quote, I was again very good point. She is telling a very relevant quote. Then as you proceeded, as you went on with comparing and contrasting, that's the thing that you should not have done. Okay. Because according to me, these poetry and painting are two different medium.
Yes, ma'am.
And what is the question of this painter did this only, but this poet did that. There is a scope for the medium poetry to go beyond a visual representation.
Exactly.
The history can be said in a poetry, but how could you expect history in a painting where when a visual is shown river, it's tough to, otherwise it will look a very abstract painting with the history there clubbed along with the bridge and the water saying that taking back. So where the problem started, when you started comparing and contrasting the two medium, which should not be done. Do you agree with me?
Yes, ma'am, definitely, because it's just my perception, and that's why I said in the beginning itself, it's my humble presentation.
This leads to challenging you.
Yeah.
Whenever you say a point, see to that you are less challengeable.
Definitely, ma'am.
Because you are giving a lot of scope to people to challenge. Why are you comparing two different medium?
Yes.
What is the need to do it actually? There is no logic at all when you compare, this is said in poetry and this is, whereas this is not said in poetry.
It's just my passion towards
But again, you came back to the logic.
Yes.
It's opening good, middle part little bit, illogical.
Yes.
But towards end, you were saying it's a mirror of life.
Yeah.
So what do I say? If you want going to do two different medium, you just take as they how they portray different aspects. You can use it in that way.
Sure.
How poetry portrays the certain aspects of themes and how painting, several other aspects.
Instead of comparing, I
yes,
could say that,
complementing each other. But when you do comparing and contrasting, you are not doing justice to whatever thing paper you are presenting.
Yes,
there is no logic at all in comparing two different medium. That should not be done. But when the concluding slide, you managed. That is a little bit. And also, why you write essays there in the slide? It's injurious to eyes.
True.
Do you agree?
Yes, ma'am.
When I try, make it as a table.
Yeah, sure, ma'am.
Go for keywords, less words. When I read it, it's really injures my eyes to find an entire essay of 30 lines and 40 lines in a slide. No.
Yes, ma'am.
Do you understand? This is not a Word document, right? Do you understand?
Ma'am, I take it.
So make note of this. This could be helpful to you.
Definitely, ma'am. Definitely.
Yeah, good luck. The questions.
2 points. First, of course, bullet points. I suggest the same. Don't go for passages. 2 lines maximum.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Don't go for passages. And I was thinking literature, imagery, images, symbolism, metaphor, and additionally painting like that. I was thinking nothing more than that.
Thank you, ma'am.
Yeah. Questions from audience?
If I understand the presentation right, this is what I got. When you see an image, some literature, not necessarily poetry, some literature comes up telling that we describe that or we narrate that. If it's a narrative incident, we narrate that or describe. So some literature comes out. Similarly, alternatively, when we write something, read a poetry or a piece of literature, also we can visualize an image.
Yes.
As in the case of Thames, for example, when we say, let's say, London Bridge is falling down, now that's a poetry, but then we can also see how the Western civilization is crumbling, for instance. Or when Wordsworth saw 10,000 I saw at a glance, that also gives us an imagery of myriad of flowers.
True.
So that way, that was good. Only thing that I consent with, ma'am, is that if you compare and contrast two mediums, like in this case, images or paintings and poetry or literature, they don't make much sense. It's like comparing oranges and apples. They have their own uniqueness in their own way, and each has its intrinsic value, and we can appreciate both of them in isolation. Also, maybe integrate together, but not compare and contrast. Yeah?
True.
Yeah.
Point taken, Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Point taken, ma'am. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
I appreciate all the paper presenters and also the patient audience there. The session is closed. Thank you so much.
Thank you, audience.
Thank you, Chairs. Participants, we all have to move on to the next room, which is Mini Hall 2. Here, they are going to arrange the stage for drama. We'll go there. We'll have a book reading session there. I need 4 volunteers from Satya Sai who are ardent readers. 4 volunteers from Satya Sai, because the show is going to be handled by you. Please, all participants, our own research scholars, whoever is here, please move on to Mini Hall 2. This way, the next room. சார் இதை நீங்கள் இப்போ ஆஃப் பண்ணிக்கோங்க. இப்போ ஆஃப் பண்ணிக்கோங்க. 1 மணி நேரம் கழிச்சு திரும்ப ஆரம்பிக்கலாம். எனக்கு லைவ் ஸ்ட்ரீம் அங்கே வர முடியுமா புக் ரீடிங்க்கு பக்கத்து ரூமுக்கு? வராது. சரி, ஓகே. ஃபோட்டோ மட்டும் எடுப்பீங்களா? வீடியோ மட்டும்? Can we all move to the next hall, which is Mini Hall 2, the adjacent room? If we have the participants of cultural events, not an issue. Others, paper presenters and people from other college. I request our faculty members and our research scholars to help them to Mini Hall 2. kindly come to Mini Hall 2. We'll have an